Hi guys! Yes, it is newsletter day. It has been quite a while since I have done one, as I have been involved in many different exciting projects that have absolutely brought me heaps of fulfillment and joy, and I hope also did the same for the participants. As you know, I've been doing some work with the Smith family, which has been fantastic, doing some cooking classes and also working with the kiddies. And I have also recently commenced with an organisation called LifeBridge, based in Maroochydore, which I absolutely adore. And I'm able to use all of my most fun skills and learning a lot about what skills I actually do have. So it's been really, really awesome. And all of the things I've been doing, including obviously my own business and with my clients, is all about empowering people to be their happiest, healthiest, most fulfilled selves. So it just is like living a dream to every single day do something that is in a different area, but all working towards I guess what I consider my purpose here on the planet. But anyway, on with what I want to talk to you guys about today, which is one of my most important, you could say vital, weight loss and health secrets. This is something that I share with and teach to all of my clients, especially my weight loss clients, but all of my clients regardless of why they come to me. There's one predominant factor that I see in every single case of excess weight and ill health, and that, of course, is stress. Stress is absolutely insidious within our society. It's probably come to be accepted as the norm because literally we are, most of us, under a large degree of stress. The reason I explain to my clients and those that I work with in groups, the reason why today's lifestyle in particular is stress inducing is because of the amount of stimulation that we have in today's society. So you think back 50 years ago and we didn't have the TVs on 24/7, we didn't have 1,000,000,001 radio stations on 24/7, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have everything essentially at our fingertips. Phones, mobile phones, we weren't that accessible. So what that meant was all that time ago we had a lot of downtime. We had time that we would use not connecting, not talking to people, possibly working in our garden, possibly spending time with our family, possibly going to the library if something was important enough to us to go and look into and research. You've got to remember that sometimes having information at our fingertips is not such a good thing. Sometimes it is actually a stressful thing because we can know too much, and sometimes there are just things we don't need to know. And in all honesty, sometimes a lot of the stuff out there, no matter who it's coming from, no matter what expert or professor even, or medical body or scientific group, it doesn't matter where it's coming from. At the end of the day, it is just an opinion. It could be professional opinion, but it's still an opinion. And what I have come to learn, I guess, in my own personal journey and then in sharing that with my clients, is that the expert is actually sitting right where you are. Because it's you, and that is the case for a lot of things, not just health, not just with your weight, not just finances or relationship counseling or coaching or life counseling or coaching. It's just across the board. You're the expert. We, as human beings, have access to, I guess, what I would consider a sixth sense, and what a lot of people consider a sixth sense, and that's our intuition. And it's very real, it's very tangible. You know that you've all experienced that before when you've had that gut feeling on something. So, the reason why I believe a lot of us don't actually remember that or have access to that a lot or don't listen to it is because we don't have the time and space, or we're not creating the time and space to be able to hear our inner selves, to be able to connect with the wisdom that we have access to at all times. So one of the biggest habits I teach my clients, and one of the practices I strongly encourage all of my clients to get into and patiently develop is actually meditation. Meditation is something that I believe in today's society is needed because we don't have a lot of that downtime. We don't have a lot of empty time or space. Everything in our lives is full, and every moment is and a lot of, I guess, too, mental space, it's consumed. There isn't a lot of downtime or gaps or spaces happening, and that is interpreted by the human brain as stressful. It is stressful to constantly be stimulated, to constantly be thinking, to constantly have information coming at us. And when our brain signals something stressful or too much stimulation, of course, that stimulates the stress response within our body, which, as we know, activates our adrenaline and cortisol, which are our stress hormones in our body, which then activates a whole cascade of other reactions from there. Predominantly, what will happen when we undertake the stress response is our insulin will increase, and insulin is a hormone that tells our body to not burn our fuel in our system, but to store fat. So we then become fat storage machines, because if we are from a survival perspective, if we're out in the wild and we're running from whatever, a wildebeest, we don't want to be digesting and metabolizing, assimilating our food. We want to be making sure that every ounce of energy is actually going to our extremities. So we don't digest and assimilate food properly, and we store fat for later. So the other thing that will happen in the stress response is inflammation. And inflammation is simply, if you imagine, I think I've explained this before, but if you imagine pushing on a part of your body really, 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 really hard, or whacking it over and over and over and over again, you're going to get a red, inflamed response, which is essentially a sign that your body is recruiting little men to go and fix the hurt or the injury that has occurred in that region. And that's what happens throughout our body when the stress response occurs. And if the stress response is ongoing or chronic, and it's day after day after day, guess what? That inflammatory response within our body just maximizes and accumulates and causes all sorts of ill health from there. So for me, the root of most illnesses, and also stubborn weight and inability to lose weight, is always some kind of stress. Whatever that stress is for a person is as unique as your fingerprint. It could be that you're a constant critic of yourself. It could be that you live with someone who's a constant critic of you. It could be that you have financial stresses. It could be that you have, external, internal, personal stresses going on. And so it's a very real factor for a lot of people. So the best way I have ever learnt to counter that, and to also remind myself that I am a strong, capable, beautiful human being connected to everything through all time and space, is actually meditation. It's taken me many, many years to get there with it, but I am dedicated to it. I will do it most days. Not every single day. I'm not perfect, but I do know that I function much better. I feel much more complete within myself, and much more on top of life and myself and everything going on around me when I dedicate that time. I commit to at least 20 minutes a day, and I have some tracks that I listen to that are very soothing for me. My favorite one is called the Gayatri Mantra. It is an absolutely beautiful track. I also listen to another it's a healing vibration track by some locals, and then also another musical interlude, and it takes me through 20 minutes. So it doesn't matter how you do it, just do it. It is something that you will pay you back in volumes, and you will thank yourself over and over and over for. Commit to it. It might take a few years to get into it, but you will get there. All right, guys, until next time, I will see you next time. Bye.